Well, welcome into Fox 5 News Now. I'm Ariel Onstad, and we are tracking the aftermath and the current situation with strong to severe storms here in Georgia. So we want to get right out to our Jonathan Stacy, who's been tracking the latest. He has been giving us a bird's eye view of what to expect. Jonathan, where are the threats right now, and what should people be looking at?
Good afternoon to you, Ariel, and to those of you joining us right now on Fox 5 News Now. The brunt of the strongest storms right now is all to the east of the Atlanta metro area, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place for several counties, once again, that are to the east of the Atlanta metro area, really on either side of I-20, but wedged between I-85 and I-75 to the north and to the south of the city here. Let me step out of the way and zoom into where the strongest action is, because we just got the extension of a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for many counties out to our east. This does include a portion of Morgan County where the brunt of the storm is hitting right now. I'm talking about this polygon right here. That includes Greene County and of course Putnam County. This gets you just to the north of Milledgeville, coming over Lake Oconee, out near Hancock County, Sparta there, along I-20. That's where all of this energy right now is moving, and it's moving at a fairly fast clip, anywhere between 45 and 50 miles an hour. Then you can see here a second polygon. This one is a more elongated, and it extends as far to the north as Clark and Oconee counties. Athens, you're still on the outside of some heavier batches of rain, but there in Oconee County, Watkinsville, you're getting hit hard. Loads of lightning coming down right now. The same is true as you get into Madison, into Morgan County. A hefty swath of lightning there just to the east of downtown. For those of you in Inkton, is starting to look a bit better, but between Inkton and Lake Oconee, that's where the heart of the heaviest downpours continue to plague. As you get into portions of, Jasper County going out towards Butts County, Henry County, you're still getting some pretty heavy and steady rainfall, but the intensity overall is generally starting to weaken. So as we zoom in here, you can see where the strongest storms are. Anyone who is along and near Lake Oconee, near Buckhead, once again, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning. This storm is starting to show some notchiness just to the beginning or just to the north of Buckhead, so we'll watch it here as it crosses over the lake. Nonetheless, these storms have been moving along fairly quickly, so the concern really at this point will be damaging wind gusts, and these storms, without a shadow of a doubt, have a history of producing straight line winds, damaging wind gusts as well, and likely some tornadic winds. The tornadic threat does not appear to be associated with this end of the storm, this leading edge as it's rolling over the lake, but we're going to continue to watch it. With that being said, reports of trees down trees across the area continue to come in by the hour. Let's get our bearings straight here. This is I-20. Here's Buckhead. This is Morgan County, and now this is Greene County. Just to the south there you have Putnam County, and we're getting some really heavy downpours there in Buckhead. Hopping off the exit going towards Lake Oconee, this is what you'll be facing there. The lightning here, we're starting to see a reduction in lightning strikes, but when you see 94 lightning strikes literally within a 50-mile radius, you say, well, that's a pretty good swath of generous lightning, and that's what you have there really between Madison and Buckhead, and that will continue to be the case. A couple lightning strikes as you move down into Jasper County, just to the north of Shadydale there. We're not seeing as much lightning in Lake Oconee or in Greensboro for that matter. Really, the heart of the lightning that we're seeing at this point is once again still safely in Morgan County along the I-20 corridor as we roll into Buckhead. So let's zoom in here. I know there are many folks who live in this area. So let's get down to the street level. We have Swartz here, Parks Mill, Cary. We just got an update on the radar scan here, and so you can see now the leading edge moving from Swartz into Cary into Parks Mill. Now those heavy downpours hitting Brown Dairy Road, that road that goes right there, and that parallels I-20. Once again, Buckhead, you're still on the stronger end of it, and this is the city that is called Buckhead out there as you get into Morgan County. We're not talking about Buckhead, a portion of Atlanta. Go out towards Bethany, and that's where those lightning strikes are really coming down. And where we're starting to see some whites showing up here on radar, that indicates that there could be some hail, likely small pockets of hail lodged within. So let's check it out here to see if we're picking up on any hail swaths. Okay, so we're looking for some purple shading signatures here, and I don't really see that right now, but nonetheless, that is something we'll watch for. What I do see hail swath is right here just to the east of well, let's just say 400, and then just to the west of I-85. We're going to watch this area. This is the Fulton-Gwinnett County line as you get closer to Peachtree Corners in Duluth, going up towards Johns Creek. You may have had a pretty good display of thunder and lightning, but mixing in with this little lobe of energy that rolled through just about 30 minutes ago, there may have been some hail that fell from that particular cell there based on our radar indicated hail estimates. As we zoom out here, I want to show you once again, we actually now have a new severe thunderstorm warning that I want to point out. This is for the northeastern corner of the state. Now, generally today, our focus has been on the areas to the south of the Atlanta metro area, but now northeastern Georgia, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. We're specifically looking at our corner counties that will take you into South Carolina. That does include Toccoa and Carnesville. Let's click on this just to see how long it's going to be in effect. Once again, we have this new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 3:15. That includes Hart County, and it also should include portions of Stevens County and maybe even a portion of Raven County. You're going to be right out of it. And from there, you will get out of the Fox 5 viewing area. Let's go up to the corner here. Yeah, I thought there was going to be a portion of Raven County in that. So this is outside of Clayton, but for the extreme northeastern portion of Raven County and Stevens County, and also Hart County. As you approach Lake Hartwell there, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning as this system exits the state of Georgia, moving now across the lakes into South Carolina, just to the north of I-85. We've seen the lightning ramp up there in this view along, which is about 100 miles, anywhere from Dahlonega going all the way out to Lake Hartwell there. You got a lightning strikes around just under 60 within the past 5 minutes, but this is the lobe of energy that we want to watch here. Don't see anything rolling over the interstate directly. It's just along that Stevens Hart County line. Those of you in Avalon there, get ready for some pretty robust thunderstorms. They'll definitely rock you around for a second there. There in Toccoa is starting to actually slack off a bit as the heart of the storm once again is wedged between either side of the county line and wedged just to the north of I-85, and really those higher mountain ridges that you get up into as you move higher into Stevens and even eventually Raven County. So one more time we'll zoom out here just to get our bearings straight to see if we see anything else that we should be concerned about. I should let you know that there is now a tornado warning that is in effect just to the south of Macon and includes a portion of Warner Robins. That's in effect. Once again, that's outside of the Fox 5 viewing area. We're currently dealing with some exiting storms that are impacting both Northeast Georgia and East Georgia as this line of storms is starting to weaken as it rolls over 20 and 85 to the east of town, but making your way down I-75 and eventually 16 into the Macon area. They are under a tornado warning. Ariel will continue to track this as we go throughout the afternoon, but
absolutely,
here in Georgia, things are getting better.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I do want to jump in because I know some people in Macon may be watching us here on Fox Local. So can we talk about that tornado warning just a little bit more? You said it was just issued?
Yeah, so this is outside of the Macon city proper. So here is, this is Bibb County right here. And you can see the top end of Warner Robins. This is, correct me, Alex Forbes, this will be Houston County? Okay, Houston County until 2:45, that tornado warning just outside of Byron there. So you're looking at 75, here's 16, there's 75 right there. But this tornado warning is wedged in between the two. This is not in the city of Macon, but it's a very southern flank of Bibb County. Once again, we'll be looking at the base there for some potential problems. Let's see if I can get a velocity track on it. So this is the couplet that they're watching here. Here's Warner Robins, and this is the road that you take from Warner Robins that takes you into Macon. This is the county line right there, Peach County, and then that takes you up into Bibb County. And this is the couplet that they are watching right here that likely spawned that warning. Once again, for anybody who may be familiar with this area, this is well to the south of the Atlanta metro area, and in fact to the south of Macon. Make your way down. Believe this here. I'm going to have to double check this road. This says this is Hawkinsville Road through the Avondale area, all the way just to the north of Warner Robins. So Warner Robins really is just to the south of that warning there, but it's really O'Reilly Estates, Avondale, Alberta, going up into Reeds and Huber. Those people who live in these communities definitely need to be in their safe place, because actually, since I pulled this up here, we're seeing a bit of a tightening there, but it's still not a very strong couplet if we can sample the winds. Ariel, feel free to jump in. Once again, these winds, okay, just an update there on the radar. So the couplet is not really holding together. I do want to take a look at something we call the CCs, or our correlation coefficient. So, okay, so we're seeing some fairly light returns here between Walden and Avondale. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this particular location there, but you see the Antebellum North and Antebellum Plateau. That suggests that there could have been something lofted in the air with that broad level of rotation, as once again you just track the county line here between Warner Robins and Macon, where we are watching that tornado warning. Ariel?
Jonathan, I'm looking at this and I see what you're pointing to right within the Macon area with the curvature. Is that what's most concerning to you when you're looking at this?
Yeah, we look for some notchiness, and like I say, this is not a textbook example by any stretch, but you see this kind of, there's a notch here, and what it's showing you is that there are winds that are basically starting to, if we could maybe even close that and fill that in and had a hole there, okay, that would be an obvious sign of rotation here, but you have winds that are flowing inside the storm there. And generally when we're looking at confirmation of something that's on the ground, we're looking at storms that are producing winds combined near 90 miles an hour. So if we had a 45 mile per hour inflow wind and a 40 mile per hour outflow wind, we would be able to say at that point, okay, we have something that is definitely likely causing issues on the surface there. But that's not the case. In fact, our inflow wind is pretty much dissipated just to the north and to the east there of Warner Robins. So that is good news for the people who are in this immediate area. Of course, Centerville, Warner Robins, no longer under that warning. But as you move up towards 16, that's a major thoroughfare right there, headed towards Jefferson, getting out into a more of a hillier area of the county. You're going to definitely find that this warning is going to probably hold, because we are still seeing some notchiness just to the south of Macon, and we'll have to watch that area there. But at this point, there's not a couplet that is really jumping out saying that these folk are definitely under the gun in terms of an active tornado on the ground.
Jonathan, thank you so much for keeping us informed. Thank you for tracking this for us. Please keep us updated. We'll come back to you if there is anything of concern. But for now, we'll continue to keep people updated with the latest from this storm, of course, with the Fox 5 Storm Tracker app. So thank you, Jonathan. We're going to bring it back over here. I want to let you guys know that we just heard that the ground stop at Hartsfield-Jackson has been extended to 3:15 this afternoon. So keep that in mind if you are flying or traveling out. That is in effect until 3:15 this afternoon. It has been extended. I do want to check in with our Tyler Fingert. He has been tracking storms live for us in Fox 5 Storm Chaser. And last time I talked to you, Tyler, you were headed to Jonesboro. Let us know where you're at now and what you're seeing.
Hey, Ariel, good afternoon to you. We are heading to the Jonesboro area. We're probably just about 3 or 4 minutes from where we are heading. I'll flip the camera around to give you a look at what we're seeing from the front windshield of our Fox 5 Storm Chaser. You see the windshield wipers are still going. Luckily, the rain really has subsided for the most part. We've driven from the northern part of our viewing area up into Cartersville, down south towards McDonough, and over towards Noonan, and now we're heading to the Jonesboro area, where we just within the last about 20 minutes got a report from one of our Fox 5 viewers of a tree on a home in the Jonesboro area. The pictures that they sent us just absolutely traumatic for that home. It appears that some sort of older tree, the storm just caused it to get uprooted and go down. We're actually just about half a mile or so from that area, and so we're going to be approaching that in the next couple of minutes. And as we continue to drive, I'll explain what you have seen today. If you've looked out the window, chances are you have seen what I've seen. We've seen the lightning. We have seen some strong gusts of wind up to 40 miles per hour. We've obviously seen those tornado-warned storms that the Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologists meteorologists have been tracking for hours now, starting in the noon hour and continuing. And so this is something that we have been monitoring, and our team has been monitoring throughout the afternoon. And I will tell you, we saw, I think, the worst lightning. I'm looking at my photographer right now as we continue to drive. I think we saw the worst lightning somewhere around the downtown connector, right in the heart of the Midtown Atlanta area. And we're now turning on the road here where we are heading. From our understanding, this is where a tree had fell onto a home. Throughout our viewing area, we have seen a number, or got reports of a number of trees that have fallen from reported and possible tornadoes. Those obviously have to be confirmed by the National Weather Service here in Peachtree City, or in the Atlanta area at Peachtree City. That's where the National Weather Service office is based. They're going to have to confirm some of these. I know, looking at my email today and reaching out to some of my colleagues, we have seen reports in Carrollton, out in Carroll County, that area, a number of reports of trees down either on homes or different areas. And we're driving around here. It does look like there was some definitely looking for this home that we are going to try to bring you in a second, that unfortunately was damaged by that tree that toppled over. Again, the pictures that we got into our newsroom, just absolutely traumatic for this specific home. And we're in the Jonesboro area right now, driving through a neighborhood. But Ariel, I mean, depending where you are, and actually we do see it, we're going to have to switch cameras if we can in just a minute. Ariel, I'll send it back to you to get one of our handheld cameras just so we can give you a good look. I mean, this tree fell right on top of this home, right in the front yard. I'm staring at it right now. It's hard for us to do it. And actually, I see. And yeah, we'll see if we can get a better view if my photographer can turn the car a little bit.
We might leave this shot up for a minute, Tyler, and take a look at it. I know you might switch to another camera, but I am seeing what you're seeing.
Let's see if we can reverse it. We're going to try to show you and then reverse out. Yeah, because we can give, you'll see it right there as we turn. That is the home we just came upon, the guy with the chainsaw. Let's see if I can switch our camera down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, some water on it, but I see what you're seeing.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, that's the tree. We have no way of cleaning that lens right now, but yeah, you just see that tree right in the front yard just toppled over, right on top of this homeowner's home, right in the Jonesboro area. Like, hopefully everyone is okay. That's my first thought. We're going to see if we can, in a couple of minutes, try to see if we can talk to people who were here. But I mean, this home is literally cut in half by this tree, and you're just seeing it live on our air right now. So Ariel, I'll send it back to you. Just obviously super traumatic, super tragic. We're going to see if we can talk to the homeowners. We just got here. We'll try to check in with you in just a couple of minutes.
Tyler, thank you so much for giving us the latest and a look at that. Obviously, like you said, wishing the best for those homeowners. So, Tyler, thank you so much. I do want to let you know about an alert I just saw from the Emergency Management Authority in Fayette and Coweta County, basically saying that close to 4,000 people there are without power. They just posted on X moments ago. So this is something that a lot of people are probably dealing with here throughout our metro, as down trees and those strong winds cause those power outages. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we track the latest. We will let you know the updates as these storms progress throughout our afternoon. Right now, that tornado warning in Macon, near Macon, as you heard our Jonathan Stacy say just a little bit ago, has been downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we track the latest on this situation. We're going to return you to a quick break, and then we'll have a look at some more weather coverage in just a little bit. Stay safe, everyone.
2 and 3. Mic check 1, 2, and 3. Mic check 1, 2, and 3. Testing 1, 2, and 3.
Welcome into News Now. I'm Ariel Onstad here with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. Jonathan, thank you so much for giving us these timely updates with severe weather that's been affecting our area. I'm sure that you are tuned in, and as a result, we want to give you the update as to where these storms are headed next.
It has been quite the early afternoon. The second half of the afternoon will be much calmer than this, but between the hours of really about 12 o'clock and really up into the past 30 minutes, we've been under the gun with severe storms rolling across the area. A few tornado warnings were issued to the south of the Atlanta metro area. Those all have expired, but there are still a few severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect, mainly for our extreme eastern counties. As you take a look here at Fox 5 Live Viper radar, the corner of our state, which includes a portion of Stevens County along with Hart County and Rabun counties, we're talking about those border counties up in the corner of the state that border South Carolina. They're under a severe thunderstorm warning. You continue to get heavy rainfall, of course, then thunder and lightning, and there's still a significant wind threat. As you get into the heart of the area, specifically central North Georgia, going out east, you still have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings just outside of our area as you get into Greene and Hancock counties and along I-20. And then down to the south, there's a severe thunderstorm warning, joining a couple tornado warnings outside of the Fox 5 viewing area specifically, but maybe of concern for anyone who has interest in middle Georgia, central Georgia, as you have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings with tornadoes likely on the ground between Macon and Warner Robins.
Very good to know. I know so many of you watch us from all over our region, and so if you are watching from these areas right now, Jonathan, what should they know? What should they be on the lookout for?
Okay, so right now there are two active tornado warnings between Macon and Warner Robins. They're really at this point now to the east of that metropolitan area, a little bit of a hillier area. But that said, when you get into a less populated area, you just have much more of a wider fetch of terrain. Trees will snap easily. They'll be uprooted easily as those really strong winds come by, or possibly tornadic winds. And so if you're in that area, just make sure you go to your safe place. That is the lowest area and most interior area of the structure you're in. Avoid windows.
Amen. I definitely, we want people to stay safe. And talking what you were talking about a little bit ago with trees being uprooted, I mean, we have an incredible view of a tree that was uprooted in Barnesville. And a Fox 5 viewer sent this to us. If you look at the roots, I mean, Jonathan, this is pretty much double the size of this person. This is pretty incredible to look at.
Yeah, it was really a sight to see, a sight to behold. That's down there in Lamar County, and we watch storms race across that area. One of the things that I'll be looking for as we go throughout the afternoon, and we have crews spawned all over North Georgia, specifically on the south side where the areas that were hardest hit, is if trees are snapped or they uprooted. Uprooted speaks to the fact that there was likely some twisting in the air. There was likely some sort of tornadic activity, whether it was an actual tornado on the ground. If the trees are snapped, that would speak to straight line wind damage, especially if you find a bunch of trees near each other. But if this picture tells me anything, you have a singular tree there that was uprooted. Either, once again, the tree was old, which obviously you can tell that it was
roots.
old.
Yeah.
Its roots were long and deep, and therefore there was something internally going on in the tree that it allowed it not to withstand this storm, or there was something tornadic that happened that led to the uprooting of the tree. But it's going to be something, a kind of a diagnostic that not only that meteorologists like me will do, but the National Weather Service will likely start tomorrow, whether they're snapped trees or uprooted trees.
Do you have any indications right now based on some of the damage you're seeing? And I know it's preliminary and you've been in wall-to-wall coverage, but do you have any idea of where the National Weather Service may be headed based on what we've seen so far?
The focus, no doubt, over the next couple of days for surveying will be over Coweta, Fayette County, possibly some areas in Pike, Lamar counties. I wouldn't rule out them going maybe even to Henry County and Rockdale. Now, at this point, I've been covering storms here for a little while now. Not a veteran by any stretch, but I've seen the path that these storms tend to take, and that is a common path that storms, they roll fiercely across the Alabama-Georgia state line.
Do we know why?
Well, there's a common word that you hear across the Atlanta metro area, and it's a word called the Piedmont. And it actually speaks to the topography of the area here around the metro. And so when you get really to the north of South Fulton, if that makes sense, you are safely in the Piedmont territory. So there is a slight uptick in the elevation, and that makes the difference. Where you're not in the Piedmont is to the south of I-20. That is a pretty open fetch for storms to roll across on some easy open terrain, just as they would as they come in out of Alabama. But there is a really gradual uptick in elevation in terms of sea level that happens once you get in the Piedmont. That generally protects Atlanta and areas to the north from storms.
So I want to also take a look. I mean, we have incredible damage throughout, right? And one of the other photos we got and kind of imagery was actually from Tyler Fingert when he was headed in Jonesboro. He was in Storm Chaser. He was looking at Jonesboro, and I'm sure he's actually going to be interviewing a homeowner there pretty soon about what to expect. I think he's setting up, but we do want to give you a look at this house that was just crushed under this tree. And we're actually taking a live look out right now from Tyler Fingert's camera there and his photographer. They are out. I believe he's with photographer Eric Len, and they are out taking a look at this. So you can see what we're seeing in real time. This is a tree that has fallen on a home. Your first thought, of course, Jonathan, is just, I hope everyone inside is okay.
For sure.
I saw him interviewing a woman just a little bit ago, so it makes me think that everyone is okay. We hope that's the case. But this house is not okay.
Oh, definitely not. And at first glance, you see the precarious placement of that tree.
Yes.
It was very close to the house to begin with. It's going to be interesting to see what surveyors on the ground. I'm learning more based on what I'm seeing right now from what is happening around that live pick than from what is actually in the live pick.
So what is this telling you as a meteorologist?
I don't see other trees that have gone down. So I would find it hard to believe that that was actually a tornadic or even straight line event. We have to keep in mind that the root systems of trees, they get weaker over time.
This is true.
And so when a tree, now it's just hard because they've been here longer than we have.
Yes.
In most cases, it's kind of hard to tell, but trees, after a while, they can't withstand, and they have endured seasons upon seasons of storms. And that right there looks like that tree was once again the root system. And if you even look at the driveway there, It's really close to the driveway. So those root systems are going to, you see how the buckling of the driveway?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this because I want people to see it at home and say, well, yeah, I made it through this storm system, but yeah, I really do need to do something about the tree that's by my driveway. Is that root system is disrupted, making that tree more vulnerable. I don't know what happened there, but just from what I'm seeing, there are some signs there that tree was long overdue.
No, I appreciate your perspective.
Yeah.
So. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can. Tyler, can you hear us right now? Jonathan and I are at the desk. Let's see if he can hear us.
Hey, Ariel. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Tyler, can you give us an update of what you're seeing? I saw you speaking to, I'm going to assume, someone from that house just a bit ago. Can you tell us what she was telling you?
Yeah, so if I can get Michael to pull out here, since we're live on Fox Local right now. So I know you guys, I could hear you guys talking about this tree. So this is really the only tree in the neighborhood. From what I was just speaking to, and I'll introduce you to her in just a second. She lives right next door. She said she heard this thing just come crashing down. So this was the only tree that was really taken down in this neighborhood. Looking around, this was looked perfectly fine. What she said was the tornado-warned storm happened, and then basically the warning was canceled. She was watching Fox 5, Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Jonathan Stacy as all of this was unfolding. The tornado warning was canceled, and then just maybe a minute or two or a couple minutes after that was canceled, that's when a huge gust of wind came through and knocked this thing down. I mean, you can obviously see that it wasn't just uprooting the roots, but it actually snapped some of the roots. You just see this broken piece of wood right here from where these roots once actually were. I mean, it had grown under the concrete slab for this driveway and then just snapped right here. I want to bring in Diane Moore, who lives right next door to where this tree came crashing down. So you said that basically the tornado warning happened, the storm was coming through, it basically ended. It was cleared out. They canceled the warning, but then this happened. Can you describe what you heard, what you saw, and then what happened when you went to go check on your neighbors?
I saw the wind pick up. Within seconds, the wind just picked up like I've never seen the wind before, and a lot of trees behind me were actually bending over. And the next thing I heard was a big boom, big crash, and I looked out, saw this. And the first instinct, of course, was to call 911. But then I also started yelling my neighbor's name to make sure that was the first concern, that they were okay. And I know that 99% of the time they are home. So I was just concerned, and I started screaming their name from my house. And someone opened the blind on the back and waved, gave me that they were okay.
And you said after the fact you were able to then talk to them once the rain died down a little, and they told you that they were actually in the room where this thing crashed right in the middle of the house and split the house into two. And what did they tell you?
They just said basically the same thing. Is they heard the loud noise, like the loud wind, and the next thing they know, they got a tree in the house. I mean, they were very fortunate, very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, especially since you said they're all okay.
Yes.
Just
yes.
Unfortunately, their home they were renting is now likely a complete loss. Yeah. And this is the second time in about 25 years or so that another tree on your property crashed into another home. Yeah. And I mean, was it a similar situation?
It was. Yeah, it was. 100. They estimated at least 150-year-old oak tree that fell. And it was a whole lot bigger than this, and it went through like 3 stories of the house next door to me. And the older lady lived there, but she came out okay as well. But this was just like the memories all again, just two. I mean, and my house is like right in the middle of both of them. And this one, actually, if you look at the limbs, they were about maybe 2 inches from my house. So the Lord was just with us.
Diane, I appreciate you talking with us. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad your house is okay. Unfortunately for them, let's see if we can take off the sticks real quick for our tripod, and I want to show you the back of this house real quick. Bear with us for a moment as you follow along. As again, you can see it right here. The police have already come through. The fire department has already come through and put up the caution tape. I mean, it just split this house into two. We're right near Pine Street and Johnson Road in the Jonesboro area, and you can just see the damage. And as we come across this way, if photojournalist Michael Moore comes and follows me right here, if we you'll just see just how close it came to Diane's house. And she was saying that just how lucky she was. They've already cut up some of the limbs you can see that are laying on top of her metal fencing here, but it came through. I mean, obviously this is a very old tree that just came crashing down, taking down some of the brick there, and now has come to a rest on the backside of this home and the roof. And you just see the limbs everywhere. And as she said, just a couple of inches from her home, she's okay, her home's okay. Unfortunately, this home right here, heavily damaged after the storm came through. And obviously, it's always an important reminder that just because there was a tornado warning, things can happen after the fact, especially if it may have been weakened during that tornado warned storm. And then just a couple of minutes afterward, a strong gust of wind came through and just knocked this down. Just shows the power and the fury of Mother Nature here. Ariel?
Tyler, amazing. Thank you so much for showing this to us. Amazing to see Mother Nature, as you said. I mean, Jonathan and I were watching you and just taking a look at that tree as it fell on the house. Like you said, and Jonathan, kind of as you were alluding to, these trees can get older and weaker and can fall. So Tyler, thank you so much for giving us a look at this. And of course, we're sending our best thoughts to the family renting that home, and of course to Diane, who had to live through yet another strong storm. So thank you so much, Tyler. And kudos, of course, to photojournalist Michael Moore. Looking at this, Jonathan, one of the things, as you were saying, of course, is trees can get weakened over time. Diane was just talking about what it was like to live through a tree falling on her home once before. And while this wasn't her house, you know, it's kind of too close to home, those memories, this happening all once again so close to where she lives.
Yeah, both physically and emotionally for her, it's a bit too close for comfort. And I think this should serve as an example to anybody who's watching anywhere that we have to notice our tree line. We have to notice where there may be some areas of concern, especially if the winds were to gust or severe storms were to come through.
To your point, I mean, she was talking about how she was watching you on Fox 5, on the watching the weather just as this was unfolding. This tornado warning ended in her area, and then she said shortly after that they heard that loud crash.
Yeah.
So it happened afterward because of that weakening.
And that's the thing. You may even want to consider it a delayed effect, but oftentimes after the severe thunderstorm warning or even the tornado warning expire, there is still something else behind that system. And what happened today, specifically in that case, best of my recollection, is while the tornado warning expired, and that tree likely didn't go down as a result of or any rotation, there was still a severe thunderstorm warning in place. And we know in a period of 5 to 10, 15 minutes, that's a lot to absorb and to figure out what your threats are, especially in an ever-evolving situation. But they were still under a threat for winds that could exceed, in our case, 58 miles an hour, and it took down that tree.
Yeah. So bringing us our attention, we're taking, of course, a look at the home and that damage, and you can see that things are taped off now, it looks like, with some caution tape, because that home is no longer, it's crushed. It's a total loss, as I heard her say. Yeah. Okay. But I want to ask you, do we have any new alerts or anything you're monitoring that have just come through here on our radar?
The thing that will be said at the end of the day is that this was a swift storm system. Now, it was strong and powerful, but it moved through swiftly. It was a 30-minute period that any particular neighborhood across North Georgia was under the gun. So with that being said, all the storms right now that are severe are moving into South Carolina. So that should cause many of you to breathe a sigh of relief. Still be careful as you venture out, because there are many down trees, down power lines. If we can even show Fox 5 Live Viper Radar, I do like to show this from time to time. This is what is happening right now. And you can see those storms are marching on up out of here. Even if I stop them, you can see that all of the blinking yellow polygons are really on, to some degree, on either side of the South Carolina-Georgia state line. But what may be a bit more telling of what the afternoon, the late afternoon and the evening will look like are the power outages that will continue to be an issue, especially for crews across the area. So there have been times when this map, you've seen it before, it's been completely lit up. But you know, if you're without power, if that's just you or a few neighbors, that means something to you, and it's quite significant. So where we're seeing the greater outages, some 2,000 customers in the Henry County area, about 1,000 there in Carroll County, Noonan about 2,000. And so where we're seeing these higher, Monroe County about 2,000, you're seeing that line basically where the storm swept through. We're seeing a surprising number of folks without power in Gwinnett County. 3,000 in a county that large is not that big, but nonetheless, the strongest parts of the storm didn't even hit Gwinnett.
Yes, and that's what's so interesting, right? Because you look at a place like Fayette and Coweta counties, and that is something where the emergency management leaders there have said they've had close to 4,000 people without power. Now, I'm sure that number is going to grow, but at this time, to your point, comparing, that is where the brunt of the storm kind of was. So interesting to see. I do want to let you guys know, of course, a ground stop has been extended until 3:15 at the Atlanta airport. So if you are trying to get off the ground at Hartsfield-Jackson imminently, you have at least 15 minutes to go. So Jonathan, taking a look at this radar as this continues to move east, people should still keep an eye out, but we're in the aftermath portion of this.
We're in the aftermath, and there has been a question throughout the day. I put up some of those storm reports that are starting to trickle in. We'll get more as folks get out and about. There's a concern that there could be the redevelopment of a line behind the system. And so we're going to look at some fragments here quickly. What you see is some very spotty rain over eastern Tennessee and even portions of East Alabama there, just to the east of Birmingham. So the redevelopment of that line is not likely. The atmosphere is pretty worked up. But if you get another shower or two around 6 o'clock, anywhere between 6 and 10, don't be caught off guard. We're not looking at this whole thing firing back up again. You're generally in the clear.
Good. Jonathan, thank you so much for keeping us up to date. Thank you for your hard work. I know it's much appreciated, not just by myself, but for so many of you watching us here on Fox Local. So thank you so much.
For sure.
Well, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break while we wait for the folks at Fox Weather to give us a look at severe weather updates nationwide.